Ah, hello patrons. So I want to start trying something a little different for these updates. One of the reasons it takes me so long to do an update is because, well, generally I've just been, I'll just, grab shots of various things, random stuff, whatever I'm working on, and, things that, probably won't end up in a project video or behind the scenes stuff, whatever, the stuff that shows up in updates. And then, I think I've mentioned this before, what I do is I sit down, guys have to sit down and see all the stuff I've collected and then like make a list so I know what to talk about, so I can sit down and do the narration and then just lay over the video. And that, it takes a lot of time, and and then I keep putting it off, or I get distracted and I'm never able to sit down and do it. So I thought I'd try something a little different and just start, I'm just gonna collect snippets and try to explain what's going on at the time, and then just cut a bunch of those together. So these are going to start being a little more disjointed, a little more random. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully that will enable me to at least start putting out updates a little more often. So let's get started. So you may have seen, let me turn the fan off. There we go. So you may have seen this monstrosity in the background at some point. This is my sheet goods storage, and it's one of the first things that I built for this shop, because when this shop was first built, it just had plywood leaning against the walls. But I'm about to make a major change out here in the shop, something I should have done a long time ago. And the first thing I got to do is move this. So that means first completely emptying it, using a truck bed to temporarily store everything. Then I got to come up with some one-man engineering to remove some stuff from the top that has been, well, it's been serving as a sort of an extension to the loft. I forgot, I've got a whole box of aluminum Z's I gotta do something with. I don't even know what's in this. So, you think I was not gonna mention this? I got this for free years ago. Came out of an old theater in Oklahoma. I was actually working on a book at the time and was interviewing somebody there about a ghost story. I saw this. I said, hey, that's a pretty cool popcorn machine. They said, yeah, we've been trying to get rid of it. I said, I'll take it. They went, okay. And it's been mine for years. I just haven't had the time or the money to do anything with it. I'm actually, at some point, planning to turn this into a bar. Then I gotta move the rack over. Five feet. Little known fact, all that wood comes from a rubber tree plant. And finally, I gotta put everything back again. Since I'm moving things around, I've decided to go in and clean out my materials storage while I'm at it, which has just become completely unruly
I try to keep whatever cutoffs I can for future projects, but eventually it just accumulates to the point of uselessness that I have to start throwing some things out. And I've decided to reorganize my racks while I'm at it.
This rack here previously held random pipe and dowel, and I think I've decided to make this primarily metal cutoffs. I'm even thinking of rebuilding this, making it wider, moving it somewhere else, making these areas back here narrower so that it's easy, so I don't get too much in here and lose track of what I actually have. That's exactly how I ended up with far more dowel rod than I ever need. I couldn't tell what I had, so I just kept buying it. And I may do something similar to this rack, make it shallower or make a front and a back section. And I need to, the bottom here is actually tilted backwards to try to help this stuff from falling forward, but it's not tilted enough, and it always falls out and hits me in the shins. I've got this rack up here for short cutoffs. I think this is pretty much okay. I've got a rack here for smaller sheet good pieces. I think this is okay. And over on the other side, I've got my lumber rack, which I built a long time ago. And I think I should have, it's a real mess. I should have made these probably a little shallower and put more divisions in here, because it's, there's too much gets piled up in here. I can't tell what I've got back here, and it's almost impossible to get to. So I'm probably gonna rebuild this. So I guess I'll explain why it is I've been moving things around. This, as you guys probably know already, this shop gets really hot in the summer. I've got one small window in the back there, which is sealed up because I've got a little air conditioning unit there. And I've got the big door in front, but I've got no cross breeze. And I didn't really have any say over how that was built. The shop, I live in Dallas, as most of you probably know, but my shop is outside of Dallas. It's actually at my family's place, and we built this shop here. It was about 14 years ago, so I didn't really have any say about how this was built. My maker career started a few years after that, and I just this was the most convenient place. And it's just kind of become my shop. My dad is retired, and he doesn't use it for anything. And some of this is storage. This loft area up here is full of junk that's not mine. Actually, up here somewhere, I've got some G.I. Joes and some laser tag stuff. This loft, it's got 3 sections. This I use for material storage. The middle section, which is the largest, that I use, you see me back in there sometimes when it gets very hot. I got this plastic sheet that I put up here. I closed off the walls in between because there's a 3rd section back there that's storage. And this middle section, I dropped some plastic down, closed off those walls, and I got an air conditioner. And it's not very efficient because it's not totally closed in or insulated or anything. So I am finally, I've got a window here where I can take some time. I'm gonna close this off properly. And in fact, I'm going to extend it out some. I've drawn a line here on the floor. I'm going to extend it out a few feet and then properly close that in. And then that should give me enough room to actually get some real work done in there. And once I get it insulated and everything, then the air conditioner can finally do its job. Because frankly, look at this gray. I'm getting too old for this heat. In fact, several years out here in 100+ degrees, I think that's what caused this. It's not gray, it's ash. And that's why I had to move the sheet goods storage, because the office wall, this side wall is going to be right here, and the sheet goods storage was over here, and that meant I couldn't pull anything out. I would have ran right into this wall. So I just had to move the rack over here, so now I can get stuff out. And then maybe this wall here, I'll be able to put some more material storage right here. See, I've got a bunch of long metal stacked up here. I think I may move this sort of thing over to this wall That way I can make it longer and I can get full 12-foot pieces of metal here. Bird news! So following the disappointment of the Roadrunner eggs not hatching, which I covered in my last update, I discovered that a family of some nondescript birds had developed in a watering can, also on top of a cabinet on the porch. There were 3 new little birds, but they were all learning to fly by the time I discovered them. Still learning. Oh, you're down here. Hey. Hey.
Oh, looking very tough now.
Don't give me the stink eye. Well, you're just born with a frown, weren't you? And to think your kind used to rule the earth. The day after I shot that, I had to engage in yet another bird rescue when one of them fell down behind some scrap wood and couldn't get his idiot self out. I can't believe I have bird news every time I make one of these. So you want to find some good reclaimed stuff to repurpose? Find out where the old neighborhoods are in your city that are undergoing a resurgence, where they're doing a lot of renovations. I was just driving through one for a sign repair, and I spotted a pile of stuff that looks pretty promising on the side of the road. Let's check it out. Hey. All right, these aren't bad. Look at this. I was outside for 4 minutes and I'm soaked. There was a bunch of old wood there too, but it was just some old cheap pine, some 2x4s that had been glued together. Nothing really special. But those windows, I can do some of those windows. You got any ideas? Let me know. Hey, so, I don't even know where I am in this update now. Things got a little interrupted. Those of you who saw my last Patreon post know that I had surgery a couple of weeks ago. They operated on my face. As far as I understand it, they had to they had to break my nose and then reset it. I had a badly deviated septum, which means I could never breathe out of the right side of my nose. And they literally stuck a laser up into my face and shrank tissues so that I could start to breathe better. I'm still healing. Things are still a little sore and swollen, so I can't completely breathe yet, but I'm starting to notice a difference. Something I've been putting off for many years, and finally got it done. But I've slowly been getting back up to speed. I'm back in the workshop right now. I'm finishing things up, trying to get stuff out. Guys coming to pick up a bunch of stuff tomorrow, including the 2 vending machines that I've been working on. This one is, it's really a copy of one of the first ones I did. I think it was the second one that I did. The only difference being the selection window, the graphics on this were totally shot. So we worked together, the designer, Courtney, and I, on creating new graphics for this. This is a vinyl, adhesive vinyl that went over this. That's custom made just for Lowell. And this other one here, this is a new design. A lot of these metal decals. This one also has a custom selection window. Some very complicated graphics on the bottom. This the graphic down here at the bottom took me pretty much a whole day to do all of the paint masking on. And the nameplate on the front is very much like one that I did earlier, where I stacked up the paper to create the lettering and then covered it in resin. But this time I had a robot, so I actually carved out the lettering out of the MDF and then did the same resin covering with some paint and some rusting. And it's got a little light up deal in the middle. I'm also finishing up 10 of these neon signs, 5 big ones like this and 5 smaller ones.
And all of this has to get crated up today. I'm making the crates and packing everything up, and the guy's going to be here probably in the morning. I hope not too early. So, what else? I think I'm just going to tie it up there. Like I said, I have no idea where I am in this update. I don't know what I'm updating you on. I'm not going to know until I get into editing, but I wanted to go ahead and tie this up and get it out to you guys because I know it's been a while since I've updated you. And I wanted to, again, thank you for your support through Patreon. It really helps me. It helps me keep this channel alive. And it's a big help, especially when I have to take time off for things like nose straightenings. And also, thank you for your words of encouragement and support. It really helped me while I was recovering. And by the way, I feel like I should point out this wasn't cosmetic at all. I mean, how can you improve on this? But I should get better ventilation now. Maybe a little more oxygen to the brain. Clearly, it's not helping yet. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.